Guys, welcome to my channel. We are reading Zoe and Sassafras, Unicorn and Germs by Citro. And I did get approval by Scholastic to read this. So we're on chapter 7 and 8. What will work? We had to let this bacteria grow in a warm place, just like the yogurt. So we used the same colorer as our incubator. Mom just refilled the glass jar from new hot water. I snuggled the 4 Ziploc bags with the puree dishes down between the jars and made sure they were nice and toasty warm. Mom threw all of our used supplies into the garbage and we both washed our hands really well. It will take a while for the bacteria to grow, right? Well, normally, yes. It usually takes 1 or 2 days to be able to see bacteria on a puree dish, but magical things always seem to grow more quickly than normal things. I think we'll have an answer in a few hours. Oh, that's awesome. While we wait, we need to figure out what I'm going to use against the bacteria in the second experiment. I tapped my thinking goggles. Nothing. I started walking around the kitchen. When I got near the kitchen counter, I tapped my hand along it. I reached the kitchen sink and spotted the soap. Oh, soap, I explained. Good, Mom replied. Okay, one idea down, a few more to go. I shifted my thinking goggles again. For some reason, I felt like walking backwards, so I did. I ended up at the edge of the kitchen counter. Right by the counter is in disinfecting wipes. My mom used to clean the counters. Wipes, I shouted triumphantly. Another great idea. What else? I took one more lap around the kitchen. I started rubbing my hands together. Wait a minute. Hey, doesn't Sophia's mom use some kind of hand sanitizer made from plants to get rid of bacteria on our hands before we eat? Oh, are there any plants that might stop the bacteria? Yes, there are, exactly. Excellent work. The soap and wipes are pretty straightforward, but you'll probably want to do some reading to figure out which plants to use. I have just a book for you. Mom went to her office and came back with a big plant book. Before we had antibiotics like you took for your ear infection or antibacterial cream like we used on your cuts and scrapes, people used plants to treat infected cuts. You can read about lots of them in here. Let me know what you decide to try. After I'd read for a while, I grabbed my science journal. There were so many plants to choose from. I decided to pick only the plants I knew I could find at our house. Once I had a list of 4 plant options, I leaped to my feet. I have a plan, I announced. No one was in the kitchen to hear me, but I was still excited, and I flipped to the new page in my science journal. Question: what will get rid of Tiny's bacteria? But I couldn't concentrate. I gathered up everything and headed outside. I needed to talk it through with sassafras. Tiny was awake this time, but he sure seemed like he felt terrible. His eyes were a little puffy, and he barely held his head off the ground. Sassafras was curled up by Tiny's chin, but he looked up when I walked over. I have a plan, I reassured them. After snuggling them both, I settled down, crossing legs on ground by Tiny's head. I opened my science journal and picked up where I left off. Okay, let's see here. What's my hypothesis? I guess soap or the disinfectant wipes could get rid of the bacteria, but Tiny's from the forest, so using a plant sort of makes sense to me. Of all the plants on my list, onions seem the most powerful. They always make my nose wrinkle and my eyes water, so I think they'll be the best at stopping this bacteria. Hypothesis: I think onion will get rid of Tiny's bacteria. Materials, I sang. Materials. Pete trays, agar mixture, cotton swabs, Ziploc bags, Tiny's bacteria, garlic, onion, oregon, thyme, soap, disinfecting wipes, marker, tape, spoons. Mom came out to the backyard. How's it going? I probably handed her my science journal and hopped up. I'm going to check on the puree dishes. I dashed into the house and I peeked in the cooler. Nothing yet, I announced when I came back out. Your plans look good. Mom handed me my science journal. Why don't you hang out here with Tiny and Sassafras? I'll call you when it's time to check the bacteria again. Thanks, Mom, I said, and snuggled up next to 2 of my favorite animals. Chapter 8. Stumped. Tiny was not doing well. I brushed his tail with one of our rakes and then seemed to make him feel a little better. But what Tiny really needed was a fixed leg. It felt like I had been waiting in the yard for hours. When my mom finally called me in, I ran to the cooler and opened the lid, excited to move on to the second part of my experiment. But I looked up at Mom. The bacteria should have grown by now, right? Mom glanced at the clock. I really thought it would have. So what does this mean? She sat down at the kitchen table. Well, maybe the bacteria just needs more time to grow, or maybe the agar mixture is missing something this bacteria requires. I'm not sure which. I sat down next to Mom and flumped my head in my arms. We really need to figure this out. I don't want to waste any more time. Mom rubbed my back. I know what you mean. Excellent plan. Oh, shoot. I missed a page. Sorry, guys. Okay. Can we make a new agar powder while we give this one more time to grow? Mom nodded. Let's try it. But what do you want to add this time? I got up and paced and tapped my goggles. Come on, thinking goggles. Give me some ideas. I muttered under my breath, but instead of new ingredients, all I could think about was yogurt. Was this really the best time for a snack? Or I pouted. The only thought I'm having is about yogurt. I don't want to eat. I want to solve this. Oh, Mom raised an eyebrow. Oh, I said again. Yogurt, of course. Care to share those thoughts? Mom asked. Well, we knew we could grow the store-bought yogurt bacteria in milk because the bacteria was already growing there. Right, Mom said. We know the bacteria on Tiny's growing on the unicorn, so we just need to find a way to add some unicorn, something to the agar powder. Oh, great thinking, Zoe. What? That just might work. What are you thinking of adding? Well, the cut on Tiny's leg is on his fur. Maybe I could clip some fur from one of his good legs, and we could mix it in that. Excellent plan. You grab the fur, and I'll start cooking a new batch. In no time at all, Mom and I had puree dishes filled with new agar. Now with unicornness added, once they cooled, I took them out and with my gloves, the cotton swabs, I carefully added bacteria from Tiny's cut to the new puree dishes. Mom filled the jar to the cooler with more hot water, and I gently settled the new puree dishes next to the old ones. The old purees still had nothing on them. I told Mom as I closed the lid, let's hope the next ones are more effective, she said. I sat down at the kitchen table, and now we wait. And that is the end of chapter 8, guys.